What does a recession mean for the housing market? Many have said that recessions create millionaires, and there are people that do. But most people lose their jobs and their housing during a recession. And we have one coming up. So what does it mean? What do we do in a recession? And what happens to our housing market during a recession? In this video, I'm going to answer all of those questions and more. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that, yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that, let's fix that.
I'm going to share with you a big secret that no one shares about recessions. I'm going to share with you the real reason why millions are made during a recession and lost. And I'm going to share the biggest trap that every 25-year-old to 55-year-old needs to avoid in this upcoming recession. First, let me tell you what a recession is. A recession happens when there is a decline for 2 quarters in a row of gross domestic product, also known as GDP. In other words, our economy is measured in how much economic activity happens and occurs in every single quarter. For example, companies in America output a certain amount of economic activity, meaning they create products and services, and it results in an amount of money that is generated every single quarter. The United States government keeps track of this gross domestic product, and it is measured and reported every single quarter. If we have a quarter where GDP goes down, that's okay. If we have 2 quarters in a row where GDP declines, then we are officially in a recession. One of the triggers of a recession is higher interest rates, meaning that it costs more money to borrow money. So companies are not able to borrow money, and a lot of banks and lenders restrict the amount of money that they are lending. This in turn leads to companies going in decline. Many companies stop hiring, and in many cases, companies will do layoffs to preserve the company. It basically stops the companies from growing. So when we are in a recession, we're in a decline, the economy is in decline, and companies usually follow suit with layoffs, job losses, and many negative impacts on the economy. As a real estate entrepreneur, there are so many benefits to real estate. So when we're talking about recessions in the housing market, we got to talk about the benefits of real estate. The reason why most people invest in real estate and why the housing market is affected so much by a recession is because as a real estate entrepreneur, a real estate investor, we use real estate to make money. There are 3 ways that you usually make money with real estate. Obviously, values are going up over time. That's appreciation. So real estate investors are able to sell their properties for a profit. Again, also, we're able to rent out our real estate, whether it be residential, whether it be apartment buildings, condos, hotels, different things like that. We use real estate to make cash flow. Also, with real estate, you can usually borrow money against it. Just think about this. You can refinance the property and get the equity out through a cash out refinance, or you can leverage your property. If you own it free and clear, you can take out a mortgage and get that cash out of the property and still have the property and be able to rent it out without having to sell it. Additionally, you can even have tax deductions and all of the tax benefits that come with owning real estate. So real estate in the housing market is such an important part of the United States economy. The economy really thrives and is built on the housing economy because pretty much everything that you see in the economy is real estate. Even businesses are considered a part of real estate because they generate economic activity. So let's talk about how you mix the recession with the housing market and what really happens. So let's talk about what happens to real estate during a recession. Like I said, during a recession, there's usually higher interest rates, so companies will stop borrowing money. There's limited access to funds for a person to grow their business, and oftentimes there are downsizing or layoffs that happen because you don't have the money to grow your business. So now when we talk about, well, what do we do with the housing market, there is a big effect. The same thing happens with real estate. Because there are higher interest rates, there are less people buying homes because it costs more to buy a home. Higher interest rates definitely affects the housing market in a very negative way, but that is not the biggest impact. The biggest impact in a recession are the job losses. Because companies usually do lots of layoffs, they start downsizing, higher unemployment, and things like that happen during a recession, Usually people lose their income, they also lose their house. So during a recession, there's usually a lot more foreclosures simply because people have lost their incomes. So as the foreclosures start to mount up, the values of homes in that area start to go down. This can be a disaster for entire housing markets depending on how many foreclosures we have. Think about during 2007 and 2008 when we had the big recession in the United States. The reason why it got so bad is people lost their jobs, they lost their income, and they started going into foreclosure in record numbers. All of those foreclosures declined the whole housing value, and people were able to get properties at a cheap value, but at the same time, finding tenants, being able to get a mortgage on those properties, trying to find funding, all of those things became more difficult. So although there was an opportunity to get properties at a low price, for most of us, we weren't able to take advantage because we were part of the people that lost our jobs, lost our incomes, and were probably losing our house. That's definitely what happened to me. So let me quickly tell you what happened to me during a recession and how you can stop it from happening to you. I'm Noelle Randall. I am a multimillionaire today, but that is not where I started. I started investing in real estate in 2001 and 2002 when I was living in Atlanta. I was working a full-time job and I started flipping houses on the side. I had no idea what I was doing. When the recession hit in 2007 and 2008, I lost my job, I lost all of my properties, I ended up filing bankruptcy, had multiple foreclosures, no money, no job, and I had to go back and live in my parents' basement. It was a total disaster for me. I saw so many people lose their jobs and their homes, I decided I did not want this to happen to me again. So when I was in my parents' basement, licking my wounds as a loser, I decided to educate myself, probably similar to what you're doing right now. I started learning about how to make money during recessions, how to get foreclosures for pennies on the dollar and actually make money with them. I learned about real estate and wholesaling and how to really fix and flip, and that is how I was able to turn my entire life around. And that is how I became a millionaire that you see today. But recessions do offer an amazing opportunity for people that are in the right position. Like I said, my homes got foreclosed on, and there were investors after I got foreclosed on that bought those properties for pennies on the dollar. They ended up making millions of dollars once the economy turned itself back around. So if you are able to start thinking properly and realizing that a recession is coming and putting yourself in position to have money, you will be able to get profitable real estate during a recession. That's what other people did, and now it's time for you to do the same. So here's how you prepare for a recession with this housing market. You need to start educating yourself. Like I said from my story, when I was in my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt, bad credit, in the worst situation ever, I literally started learning. I started going to classes and seminars and getting educated on real estate and how to take advantage of a recession, similar to what you're doing now. I now know that if you want to prepare for a recession, you need to educate yourself and you need to fix your credit. One of the great things that you will be able to use and leverage during a recession is your very good credit. Although there won't be as many banks lending people money for real estate, there will definitely be some that will, and they will require that you have good credit. Another thing that you could do to prepare is establish business credit. Business credit will allow you to borrow money in your business's name without ever using your social security number, and you literally can buy real estate in your business's name. One of the things that recessions does is it contracts the amount of money that is given to consumers. But one of the things that it does not contract on a really big level is the amount of money that's available to businesses. Again, consumers are going to be hit the hardest. Like I said, I was a consumer. I ended up in my parents' basement. But there are companies that still have access to lots of money, especially to buy real estate, especially distressed real estate like foreclosures during recession. But you have to put yourself in position now to be prepared for when the recession comes and all of those opportunities come for you too. So if you want to learn more and you literally want to talk to me and my team about how to make millions during a recession, go to callnoelle.com. You just fill out this easy little survey and tell us what it is that you're looking for. And again, this call is absolutely free. You can talk to my team, ask your questions, let them ask you a few questions, and we can help you reach your goals. Again, callnoelle.com. It's me and my team. And again, it's absolutely free. Space is limited, spots are limited, and everyone will not qualify for a call. But if you sign up today and you do it now, you'll probably be able to get on the phone with someone on my team and they can answer all of your questions to help you become successful. Go to callnoel.com right now. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noel. To your success.